Hello everybody, it's Friday night and it is time for the Weekender once again. And we have an epic show this week with a range of fantasy, science fiction and historical games and miniatures, all under 28 mil. On top of that, we also have a prize of a £50 voucher from Wayland Games. And if you want to be in with a chance to win, then pop a comment below this video on YouTube. Now sit back, relax, because your weekend starts here. Hello everybody and welcome to the Weekender. I'm joined once again by Ben and Justin.
Hello.
Hola. We were told to do Spanish.
Oh, there we go.
You failed.
There'll be time enough for that at some point. I'm looking forward to his Polish impressions coming up very shortly.
How does one do that? I think I'm more Lithuanian than Polish. We'll see.
I have a couple of Polish friends I can ask for a friend.
There we go. Yeah.
I think the important thing is just to eat a lot of sausage. That's step one. The accent comes naturally afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Once your diet subsists of about 85% meat and 15% pickle.
Yeah.
That's it.
You go to pour yourself a glass of water and it turns into vodka.
This is the way. So
good old bison grass. It's the way to do it.
All the best.
Yes. Having a fun week then, have we?
Yeah.
Yes. I've been painting things. Oh my God, I've been so productive. It's been great. I got loads of things out of drawers. I put them on my desk. I spray painted them. And then I now have to actually paint them.
Now your desk is covered in spray.
Yeah.
For myself, I am very happy because Assassin's Creed Animus Kickstarter has finished.
Sweet.
And they basically blitzed through every stretch goal they were planning to. So I am very excited for around this time next year when it should land.
Excellent.
Fancy.
My
I'm not going to stay excited for a year.
What do you mean you're not going to stay excited for? You've got to keep that energy up.
I don't know if it lasts more than 4 hours. Call your doctor.
If you don't walk around with hidden blades under your gauntlets then, or your band braces, then I don't know.
Well, I actually did pick up one little thing for my airsofting this week. Yeah.
Oh.
New tactical vest, so when they shoot me in the chest, it doesn't hurt so much.
Well, there we go.
No, there were a couple of hits I took just like right there. It was just like, ooh.
Right on the nips.
No. Why would you make me cringe like that? Ow.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Is there the equivalent of runner's tape for airsofting? to stop the chafing?
I mean, I did put like medical tape across the bridge of my nose because the face mask has like a little sharp point, and it was like, I don't want to be coming on to the Weekender with like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer over here.
I think we'd all appreciate seeing that.
Oh, I'm sure you would. I've not wanted to show it to you though.
It's good times. But yeah, I've plenty of stuff. I'm not going to go into it all.
I heard the words Epic
Warpath arrived today.
So
that was good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nightfield RPG. It's arrived for all of you podcast nerds out there. And if you're unaware of Welcome to Nightfield, sweet summer child, you've got like 10 years to catch up on there.
The next RPG in our lineup is Ruins of Symbaroum, which should be fun. Nice dark gritty world. Yes.
Is that the one that Shay's going to run?
Yes. And I have done my usual thing of going to GTP and going, here's a photo of me. Make a version of me in this world.
Because you hate artists.
No, I don't hate artists. It's just a throwaway piece.
Oh, artists, you should hear what he says about you when you're not around.
He's so bad. Nothing. It's throwaway giggle stuff. It's the only thing I use it for is my own personal amusement.
It's the best way. Anyway, who knows where this will go? I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to push on with the news.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
Okay, then we're going to be kicking things off with a little bit of 17th century pike and shot warfare, which I assume
brace.
I assume Ben has included this because he's mad keen on the English Civil War rules that they are planning in the future. But we are going to be looking at Fire and Sword by Wargamer in Poland. So this was kickstarted, I'm going to say, 3-4 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
Finally was delivered last year.
So 2023, 2024, yeah.
Out in the world for people to buy. It is a 15 mil historical rule set. And it's a fascinating one for a couple of reasons. Right off the bat, as you can see, they've got this delightful 2-player starter set, which is the Polish and Lithuanians against the Ottomans. And the big thing about this is it's a second edition set. First edition was about 15 years ago. It was released in Polish. Came out in English slightly later. It's a big honking tome. But they decided, and this is the reason why Ben's English Civil War has been pushed back somewhat. They were coming to do it, and they looked at it and went, you know what, we really could do with revisiting the rules, tidying them up for new players, that sort of thing. And they looked at the state of wargaming, and this is a prime example of when and how you should do a second edition of a game. The big old book, which was 300 odd pages,
hefty,
was more like a simulation.
Right, yeah.
Tactically deep, but they looked at the way war games were going and people looking at games and went, new players are not going to get involved with our game. There's too much. You show this to a child and they will run a mile at the thought of going through that book. So it's not just like a lot of second editions where they've cleaned up some rules and tweaked some stuff. This was rebuilt more or less from the ground up. The units basing stayed the same from first edition, but the second edition completely changed how the game is sort of played to make it, I'm going to say, simplified, easier. It's still relatively tactically deep compared to a lot of other war games that have come on the market since then. But instead of individual stands within a element moving, the entire element moves on movement basis now.
Right.
And instead of it being I go, you go, it's alternating activation. So there's a lot going on with the rules itself, because you've got two sort of scales of game. You've skirmish and then you've tactical? No.
So you got the skirmish, which is the sort of base level entry point, and then it's task force.
Task force, that's the one I'm after. I knew to start with a T, which you full.
It was an English word.
The forces within the 2-player starter set are skirmish sort of forces, and it shows both the game system itself and the period quite well, because with all of the factions, nations within the game, they are very asymmetric because of how they play. So the Polish and Lithuanian really rely on a lot of different flavors of cavalry. Shock cavalry being supported by light and medium cav from a variety of places. And the Ottomans tend to outnumber their opponent with a lot of crap irregular troops and some beefy hard hitters in there as well. So you can see, size-wise, the disparity in numbers, I think, is probably a good way of putting it. But the 2-player starter set contains everything you need to get playing. So it's a D10 based system, generally rolling lower. The units themselves come in 4 flavors. So you've got small, medium, and large size units, which are designated by the sort of base sizes. And then you've got group units, which are round. And why are they round? Because they're commanders and like, who don't really do anything on the battlefield except issue orders. They don't fight. And that is why round bases exist, people. Not to play your games with. They are to designate commanders. They don't need
to tessellate up next to things.
Yes. But it's a fascinating rule set, because you do have the in-depth command and control via orders. So all the tokens and like are in there, so you can add your orders. And you've also got the full rules and then a little starter booklet, because instead of having that massive honking tome, they've split those down into individual booklets. So you can get the rule book, you can get a playbook, And the playbook contains scenarios and bits and pieces about how you play the games. And then there's 2 army list books, each containing 5 full nations worth of lists along with their historical background. And it's kind of split Eastern and Western, more or less. So if you're looking for Swedes, Danes, Imperial, Brandenburgers, Polish, Lithuanian, that sort of thing, that'll be in Army Book 1. Army Book 2 contains your Tatars, your Transylvanians, your Cossacks and Ottomans,
Winged Hussars,
and that sort of thing. Yeah. So you've got these sort of both split up. Everything in the box, miniature-wise, for the 2-player starter set is all CO cast. However, they have also got individual nation starter sets, which this here is obviously the upgrade for the 2-player starter set, so it contains the same factions, but it allows you to push those skirmish forces to task force. However, if you want to pick up the likes of your Brandenburgers, your Swedes, your Tatars, you can get these lovely chunky skirmish sets, which are points equivalent of what you get in the starter set, but for an individualized nation. And they are a mix of CO cast horses and then metal components for your other bits and bobs.
Riders, etc.
Cannons. So if you've got your artillery in there as well, it's all good in the hood. So depending on where you want to go in the 17th century, with obviously not English Civil War, because it was written for first and then pushed back, Ben. But I mean, you can lay your hands on the 15mm forces and a really interesting set of rules. They have on their YouTube channel a whole host of videos. The videos are about 3 to 5 minutes long. And there's a playlist that contains the entire sort of breakdown of the game.
Gives you a house play of pretty much everything,
so the Academy will take you through everything from what the units are, how they're composed, through to the actual individual turns. So I think it's 15 individual videos to run through the whole game, but you can break it down into movement orders, that sort of thing, and see what you need. So it gives you a really good overview of the game itself. But even though they have simplified it dramatically, there are still some really interesting components of the gameplay itself. So things like, for Avi, fair here. So the little measuring widgets that they have there, you can, when you issue an order will give you action points for either maneuver, defend, or rally. And then that will tell you how many action points you have for the turn and what they have to be spent on. So if you put a maneuver order down, you get 2 action points. 1 must be spent on a move. Both can be spent on a move. However, if you want to spend the second one on a fire or a fight action, something like that, you may find that there's a negative for firing, but maybe a bonus for the impetus of a charge, that sort of thing. But in changing it from individual bases, moving to the base as a whole, the whole element on a tray, you've got like a 45-degree angle that you can set off from, which is why these are tapered thusly. So you don't have to work out wheeling and stuff like that you do in some games where you're working out how far is that spinning from a corner. Oh, it's gone 3 inches, blah, blah, blah. You pivot your unit from center point up to 45 degrees and go in a straight line. If you do that twice, it means you can obviously go 90 degrees and go round stuff. If you want to do a march, you can triple your move, but you don't get to turn more than once. So they get a slight pivot and then they have to go hell for leather for the horizon. But it also then changes how they interact with other units, because you can filter through friendly units. However, you have to see whether or not you take an amount of disorder as you go.
Makes sense.
It's a really, I mean, if I was getting into 17th century, I think this is probably the one I like that
it's a manageable set of miniatures for a starter force as well. It's a relatively small thing for those skirmishes, which makes sense. I mean, so the little to paint either. So.
Yeah, so a small unit is, let's say a small unit of infantry is 2x3, so 6 stands on a base. A medium unit is 3x3, so 9 stands, and then a large is 4x3, so 12. So it's sort of, even at biggest and most unwieldy, it's not particularly particularly egregious because you're
Nice.
painting 15 mil. You've got a limited number per base, so a close order unit will have 3 figures per base. A loose ordered unit will only have 2, be it cavalry or infantry. And then cannons take up the same space as 1x3, so sort of 40 by 60, I'm going to say. I haven't seen the actual base sizes, but it's not far off that.
Mm-hmm.
But it still allows things like mixed formations. So dragoons, for example, get off to fire. So a unit of dragoons will be front rank cavalry, back rank infantry. So that shows that they're moving around as cavalry. And then when they stop to dismount to fire, you pull the cavalry to the back, put the infantry to the front.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise with pike and shot, you do the same. So if your pikemen are to the front, you get a bonus for your melee and defense. If your handgunners are to the front, then you're going to get obviously more shooting. And then you can spread your pike to the corners so that you formed a defensive square. So guns in the middle. So even though they have...
It looks so nice on the tabletop.
massively streamlined it from the previous, it still has a lot more complexity and tactical depth than some other games that possibly have been sort of streamlined too much. It's a difficult balance to find, I think. Because you don't want to get to a position where it's too simplified that you lose the historical accuracy and flavor of the period, which is what they've aimed to keep. So
I am loving the unit formation, like WYSIWYG you're seeing there. Depending on how they're laid out, you can see and tell what it is you're coming up against.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that's a really nice
historical
touch.
game that doesn't do that, though, should be taken out and shot. I've never played.
Well, there you go. Now I just need to wait for them to do English Civil War. So.
I mean,
with bated breath.
The fact that ECW was done for first edition, but then they decided that first edition needed to change wholesale. Means that I think the English Civil War will reappear.
Very cool.
Obviously, there's a ton more stuff. There's even the likes of mercenaries and like. So if you're after it, you can pick it up via wargamer.pl if you are in Poland or the EU, and if you're in the UK, you can get it from wargameruk.com.
Wargamer.uk. Yeah. So
their numbers in English are limited. I will say there's some nice bits and pieces on their YouTube channel as well. They're all, if they're marked with a little Union Jack, well, Union flag, because it's not about. If they're marked with a little Union flag in the bottom, it's in English. So you can quickly scroll through and have a nosy and see. And they've done bits about how the manufacturing process. One of the reasons it's taken longer than they expected was they decided to swap from metals to CO cast, and they're still they were still learning and dialing that in a year ago. So it's been a longer process for them, but hopefully the production runs are faster and easier for them. So
there we go.
I kind of really want to do Swedish a lot.
There you go.
I mean,
kind of like a little mini indie there. That was cool.
Yeah. I will admit, out of them, the Swedish do look tasty.
Yeah.
Yep. There's even mercenaries. So, the mercenary factions in there if you fancy either running a whole thing or just hiring some filthy mercs. I mean, there's a lot more to the game than I can talk about now.
Yes, we need to stop Jerry before he goes on.
I'm not going off of one. I'm merely telling people that this game exists and they should have a look at it.
They should. It's very good.
Or Jerry will beat you with a bag of Satsumas.
I will. I won't leave a bruise, Right. Away from the historical.
Yes. So the folks over at Steamforge have now put up the pre-order for the new Warmachine core rulebook. 140 pages of steampunky goodness. So,
yes.
Now, key thing to mention to begin with, you are still able to get the rules only free PDF, but what this gives you is all of that lovely, yummy, nummy lore and background for every faction. What? It's
lovely, yummy, nummy.
Yes, honestly, it is my favorite thing. All right, it's all well and good getting your rules for free online, but getting your background in your jump off point book, a lot of times that leads where you're gonna go with your forces, because it gives you the feel and flavor in story of to what they should be doing on the table. And that can be a really good way to get into a faction. That and just seeing the artwork is gorgeous.
Is that Phil Spector down there?
No, that is not.
Just checking. He's got hair and a gun. Could be him.
But so inside the book, what we're going to get, aside from our lore and our faction breakdowns, you're going to get all of your army building rules, all of your like core basic rules, all of your advanced rules, everything you are going to need to pick up and play. That, and look at the world map of Amoran. It's just yum.
I think that's really important for a game, especially Warmachine coming back as it has been, to try and explain to people what Immoran looks like and what it looks like now for returning players as well. So it gives you an idea of the war zones you're in and things like that.
Yeah, but even if you're like a group that goes heavy into it and does like, say, a full campaign, you can decide, oh, we're fighting down in the south near the desert here.
Yeah.
You know, and just look at the art. That's always one of the things that first ever grabbed me about Warmachine was just how evocative the artwork is.
The art's
it just
very
makes you want it.
It does. It's the main reason. It's the reason why I picked Cador. I looked at the artwork first, and I thought the artwork was brilliant.
Yeah, and they don't do none of this piddly lightjack BS.
Yes. Heavy warjacks for life.
No, see, there's always been the problem because John's the Cador player, which means I got stuck with Stinky Signar. But then I learned to enjoy Signar and all of the shenanigans that they can play.
Yeah.
See how good it is when you let real artists do it, not just good AI.
I never said anything about art being used for professional work. AI art is for funsies, for screwing around in your own lonesome time.
So I'd like to do a campaign where we build a big bridge over this crevasse in the middle. So I want to see what they have.
What I quite liked about this when I was reading it is I like that they've now condensed essentially all the basic and advanced rules and everything you need to actually learn how to play the game inside that one tome, because there's a lot of people, me included, who don't like reading stuff on apps and digital versions.
Yeah, actually having a book that you can put your feet up on the sofa with.
Yeah, and then sit that down next to the table so you can have it next to you so you can flick through it and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, and really if you have gamer friends over, you can leave it out to tempt and tease them to go, ooh, what's that? Well, that is Warmachine. I can now hop on my hobby horse.
Yeah. As Justin pointed out as well, there is a just completely free rules-only PDF available on their web store as well. So if you are interested in just going to get the hands on that, you can. Although there's also another version of that available inside the app if you are digitally minded, alongside a quick start guide as well. So lots of different ways for you to dive.
Jerry, it's all the ones and zeros. You won't like it, mate. Don't worry. Sorry, I got you. But no, overall, I'm happy to see it, and it's just one of those things. It's great to have, especially if you see it at, say, a convention or something. If you're just picking up the minis and you have to go, what do you mean I have to go away and start downloading stuff? No, let me buy that book.
Exactly, and coming in December as well. So not too far away.
Perfect Crimbo gift.
Christmas, baby. We're talking about it already. Halloween hasn't even happened yet.
Dude, hang on, have you seen Tesco's?
No.
all of the Santa stuff's out already. What's going on? The world's gone mad.
Oh, joy.
Did I mention Fire and Sword has unit cards?
Right. Okay. So, moving back to smaller scale wargaming rather than 35mm with Warmachine. We also had some 10mm stuff coming out with pre-orders from Spellcrow for their amazing fantasy game that you should not ignore, which is called Argatoria. So, they have been working away in the background on their Orcs for not only Umbra Turis, which is their sort of 28, 32mm scale fantasy skirmish game, but also all of their Orcs, the Ursail, for use in Argatoria. So this is their brand new starter army set that they have put up for pre-order alongside a whole bunch of other stuff as well, which we'll see as we're going through. But this is a great option for you to get started with this. It comes with 72 figures in the box set, comes with essentially a starter force all planned and ready for you to dive in and have some fun with. Comes with your command figures in there, alongside your regular warriors, your mercenaries, your sort of black orcs known as the Nirn, as well as the priests and those shadowy orcs as well, which I think is really cool. So it's got everything you need for getting started into it in your games of Argatoria. There is something about the sculpting from the folks at Spellcrow that just always wins for me. I love that it's that 10mm scale, but so much detail has been baked into those figures. It's insane. I also like that they do exactly the same thing as we were looking at with By Fire and Sword, where the commanders come on round bases.
As is only right and proper.
As is only right and proper, and all of your regular units come on the squares, which I think is really nice. They've also done something quite cool with the sort of unit numbers as well. I like that you've got the slightly bigger, chunkier regiments that are kind of representative effectively more than sort of like giving you the idea of like lots and lots of ranks and ranks of infantry. You have those 2 or 3 models per base that then build up a larger one, which I think is quite a nice little touch. It allows them to do stuff like this where you get that extra detail on the miniatures that you see in the set, which I think is really good. If you are interested in the sale and you do want to get more Orcs, you could buy the starter army and then you could buy loads of other stuff as well, because they have absolutely tons of stuff that they've added in over on their web store as well. So all of the stuff that you saw in that box set, you can then buy as small little unit expansions like you can see there, which just comes with 4 bases. Or you can get much larger regiments that come with, I think it's like 4 more of those added on. So you get a big bulk set of them. The assassins are so cool. And the other thing as well is for a lot of people, these will be very, very nice because you'll get that sort of reminiscent feeling of sort of Warhammer of old, but then with a little twist to it as well. So you've got that kind of that Argatoria, that Spellcrow magic that's been sort of sprinkled on them like fairy dust.
Are you sure they don't use that as seasoning on their food?
Yeah, probably that too. But if you are interested in Argatoria itself, there is also a full rulebook for you to go and get your hands on, well, pre-order at the moment as well. This is available for you to get because they've kind of updated everything for this new edition, essentially, of the game. It'll come with the 7 full armies for you to dive into. There's the Aurochs, the Sorgax, the Veyandral, the Durandis, the Gaelor, the Sheolmog, and now, of course, the Ursail as well. Man, I said all those names without screwing them up.
Nice.
They've revamped and tweaked and updated the basic rules for the game as well, so it's easier than ever to dive in. Rulebook itself will be full of magic items, spells. There's 20 scenarios in the book, a full appendices, and an entire section now dedicated to getting started in Argatoria. So there's a whole bit in there for sort of new people to onboard. As I say, Argatoria has been around for a while. It has essentially all of those armies already fleshed out. So you can go in and get your hands on some really badass 10 mil barbarians and all that kind of thing for using your games, which I think is really, really nice. Monsters and all sorts of different stuff as well. So even if you're not taken by the idea of doing orcs on the tabletop in Argatoria, you can dive in and get your hands on all sorts of other different armies to have some fun with. And as I say, it is a fully fleshed out world with lots of lore. They do lots of magazines and all sorts of different things.
Purple Warlock.
A little bit, think of them a little bit like, you know, the Warcrier magazines of old for wartime and stuff like that, where they flesh out the world, tell more stories, add units in, interesting scenarios and that kind of thing as well. So it's definitely one to go and have a look at, and available in English as well. So you can dive in and have some fun with that, which I think is really nice.
I mean,
yes.
And it's worth having nosy rounds,
so
because I think Argatoria has free rules for the bigger game.
I believe it does, I think. And they've recently revamped that as well anyway.
Yeah.
So I think there's a whole website dedicated to Argatoria as well. So
it's more, whatchamacallit, more time-esque
yes,
slash
skirmishy.
Cadwallon.
Yeah.
For those of a certain age.
And the Northern Dwarves are cool. So.
Yeah. And this is the thing, because Tourist is obviously 28 mil, so we've seen what they've done in 28. So not all of those forces slash races have made it into Argatoria yet.
Yeah.
So possibly we'll see things like the dwarves down the line as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Just realised how incredibly Polish we were today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I wonder what the next thing we look at will be. Will it be Polish as well? Here's hoping. Let's take a break from the news and we'll check out a Kickstarter.
Did you win one of our prizes? Find out on our prize claim center over at OnTableTop.com. Here we list all our previous prizes and those who have won. If you see your username, fill out the form to claim your prize. All prizes must be claimed within 30 days.
Okay, so we have another grand scale game and an epic scale.
Is it Polish?
No, it's not Polish, unfortunately.
Not Polish.
Is it Polish adjacent?
And everything.
Well, could be. Depends how you want to go, I suppose. But yes, this one comes from the folks at Troublemaker Games. They released a game 2 years ago called CityCrushers, which sounds like the name of a Saturday morning cartoon from the 90s. But the whole point of that game was that you dove into mech-based robot battles on the tabletop where you crushed each other and smashed cities to pieces. Sounds
it's
legit.
Very 90s.
Now they have come to Kickstarter with CityCrushers Epic Battles, which is their brand new take on a full-blown wargame. It will use the same sort of game engine as CityCrushers, and at least it has the same designer called Barney Skinner, but it will be updated and tweaked to allow you to use lots and lots of other units beyond just your big walking, clanking robots and stuff like that, for a little bit of combined arms action on the tabletop. Now, they are on Kickstarter because they want to try and make a proper big old go of this, in epic scale, of course. And so they're going to be doing a massive new starter set that you can dive into that comes with 2 full armies for you to play as, the Novan Kingdom and the Skinners. And importantly, they want to try and do this with plastic production as well. So that is where a little bit more of that extra cost comes in when it comes to getting the funds ready for this. When you are diving into the game, as I said, you do have 2 factions to choose from. There are the Novan Kingdom, which are, think, your hoity-toity humans. They kind of are driven by a feudal society in the game, a little bit medieval. So essentially, they're the guys that you want to kick in the teeth, to be honest. Because, they're in charge and they're posh, probably. So, and they have nice shiny blue things. Why would you let them win? And
very harsh.
And going up against them, we have the Skinners, who are your bioengineered slaves from years past, who were human-ape hybrids created for hard labor. But don't worry, they have thrown off their shackles, and so they are putting together cool ramshackle things like the Crushers and stuff like that to kick the ass of the Novan Kingdom and tell them where to shove their feudal system. And apparently they also like fighting for bananas. So why would you not go down that route?
I mean, it's got a lot going on.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different ways for you to dive into this. As I said, the main thrust of this campaign is all around the idea of them producing this big plastic set that will allow you to dive into the game. However, they do also have digital options and things available as part of this campaign too. That's one of the ways that you want to go with this. There are various pledge options and things like that. At the core of this is that sort of main faction box set, but you can then expand that out and add loads of extra stuff to it. There are big vehicles for you to throw into the mix. There's loads of terrain that they've worked on for the game as well. A lot of it obviously would have been used in CityCrushers and can now be ported over into epic battles on the tabletop as well. I think if you're somebody who liked the old days of Epic, perhaps, and are not that enamored by the look of where it has gone now with Legions Imperialis and things like that, this might be something for you to dive into and have a look at, because I would imagine that the Novan Kingdoms and the Skinners are probably going to be only the first 2 factions for this that get fleshed out properly before they dive in a little bit deeper as well. So lots of different ways for you to dive into this one and have a little bit of fun with it. I like the miniature design. I think it's great. It's tried and tested, especially on the larger scale stuff. And it's good to see them moving towards adding in lots more of the other combined arms elements, like your transports, your tanks, your infantry, your command figures, and all that kind of thing as well. It's brave of them going for the big plastic production side of things, because of course that is incredibly expensive, but they already have a fair amount of backers. It's not funded just yet, the campaign, but hopefully it won't be too long before it does hit that target and they can make this a reality. They had a lot of success, as I say, with CityCrushers. A lot of people really enjoyed it, spent a lot of time going around, a lot of people playing it on the event circuit. People were bringing it to conventions and all that kind of stuff and having fun with it, especially because people would just go around and just build whatever the hell they wanted.
Well, yeah.
To have some fun with it, just kit bashing stuff and customizing and all that kind of thing. But yeah, as a small company doing something big like this, I think it's well worth throwing a little bit of support behind them, especially if you're a fan of wargaming at this kind of smaller scale as well. So, yeah.
I mean, I have to say the setup they have for the plastics is really good. Because all the plastics are recycled.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
The footprint that they impose upon the world is reduced in some respects,
which is always helpful.
Yeah, but as far as a starter set goes for small scale, doing the super heavies as multi-part plastics is cracking. Likewise, the CityCrushers themselves, the big mechs that they built for the first version of the game, where it was just bot on bot bopping each other. Both of those are plastic sets, but there is resin upgrades available. So even though this big behemoth, the conveyor comes with 3 different gun types on sprue, there is the potential then to swap out, I think the missile pods and stuff like that are resin. Likewise for the CityCrusher clankers themselves, they can do that. But just the diversity in kits in there. You know, you've got your troop transports, bikes, and infantry, all in plastique. Even heavy weapons as well. So there's a nice selection of stuff in there. I'm pretty sure, he's the big one, crumbling through the building, and then the little buddies.
I'm almost getting like old school Command and Conquer vibes off this.
Especially for the Novan stuff, I think in particular. Yeah.
I
like the kind of like land fortress vibe they have as well. It's a really nice way of doing things. Big tracks and things. Yeah. That's so cool. It's giving me like, for some reason I keep thinking of Thunderbirds as well, but
sure.
But whatever.
If Thunderbirds were good.
Captain Scarlet's the best.
Captain Scarlet was the best.
Oh, what about Stingray though?
Nobody cares about Stingray.
Nobody cares about Stingray.
Apart from the theme tune, nobody cares about Stingray. So.
It's just so bad.
It's water nonsense. Nobody cares.
It really is. like the Thunderbird submarine.
Yes.
Gets monkeys. Some cracking stuff, and a whole host of bits and pieces, like you say, already exist. So the buildings, terrain, all of that modular fun is all in there. We have looked at Troublemaker a couple of years ago as an indie, so people probably have seen CityCrushers and the terrain then.
Yes, we might have done, yeah.
And we did, because they do Nuns with Guns as well in 28.
Yes, of course.
Which are really nice. So they're 20, again, it's another look at the 28s to see what is potentially going to be coming down the line for their small scale in the future. So you can have a whole battle nun crumping around the place instead. But as a design aesthetic, obviously, they'll fit into a lot of games. But I really like what they've done. I like the fact that
it's lovely.
They started cleverly, go with the big bots and some runes for the first game, and then expand it once the stuff's out there, rather than trying to do it all in one go with a limited range.
I think what's quite nice as well is that they've, from the outset, said we're going to try and do this as plastic kits, and rather than it being like a pie in the sky, this is what we're going to do with these. We're going to make them into plastics. They've actually gone into all the detail of what a sprue will look like and that kind of thing as well. So they've done a lot of that heavy lifting and design work ahead of time to give you an idea of like, here's kind of where we're aiming with this. So you get an idea that, we do care about this and we do want to make it a success. So, yeah.
And it shows what you can do on a sprue.
It does. Pack them out, baby.
When you drop down to the delightful 10 mil, you can really hammer them in there. So what's that? 2, 4, 5 bodies for vehicles, plus a buggy, and the Skinner has 2 tracks, buggy and bikes, plus the artillery piece there. There you go. There. So really nice stuff. Those, the street sprues. I can see a lot of people picking those up for other things as well, but definitely worth checking out. There's some cracking stuff in there. They've already done test printies.
Freebies.
Like you were saying, the STLs are the versions of the resin pieces you can get. So if you want to upgrade the plastics yourself via medium of the 1s and 0s, it can be done.
And there's more in there as well.
Yes.
Principal scenery, bits and pieces, all that kind of thing. So lots of different ways.
It's a biodome. Watch out for Polly Shaw, one of the lesser Baldwin clones. They're not great. But
I think there's 21 days left on this from the time that you're seeing it. So still plenty of time for you to get in there and get this one over the line if you're interested in this scale of epic battles on the tabletop.
I think everybody is these days. Space COVID isolation bunkers. Sweet to the beat.
Yes.
Yeah, tons of fun in there. And
every form of walker leg.
I really like what they're doing. And I think if people haven't, check a Troublemaker before, they should go and have a look, see what they have to offer, as well as the CityCrushers themselves. By the way, the video at the start of this, you have to watch the video at the start of this. It's like they recorded it 3 times. They recorded it as a big, bombastic, Nova, standard sort of Hollywood-style trailer. They recorded it in the style of a Skinner or English hooligan style. I'm going to cut your bits off. And then they recorded it as a very down-to-earth, very sensible trailer, and then just chopped it multiple times.
Brilliant.
So when you're listening to it, it could suddenly swap from one to the other as they overlay one.
So did they spin a wheel for each scene to see who was getting to speak?
Oh, no, not even scenes. Mid-sentence.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like, which one should we do? Oh, that sounds a bit cringe. That's a bit weird. That sounds a bit,
all of it.
All of them? Sure. Why not? It's
throw it
delightful.
at the wall and see what
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. It's the independent madness that I absolutely love to see in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Right. I think we should take a look at some more news.
Even more news, bitches.
Okay, then, some more news, and we're going to be starting with a touch more historical. Again,
Yes.
at another small scale, Benjamin.
It's because it's the zeitgeist at the moment.
It
Everyone
is.
loves anything that isn't 28 mil or 32 at the moment.
Well, I do have some good news for you for this one. There's some Polish in here.
Hey!
So
Let's just keep on coming.
yeah. So and it's also a pre-order. So it seems to be the season of the pre-order.
There you go. Pre-order polls.
Not to be confused with Season of the Witch, Halloween 3.
Ah.
Yes.
Right. Well, the folks over at Battlefront are doing a pre-order for the Operation Bagration compilation book. Now, what this is taking all of the books that would cover this period of the war,
Look how thick
matching
it is.
them. Oh, it's a chunk. Oh, Lord, he coming. But they've taken all of the books, chunked them all together. So if you're someone who basically doesn't want to carry a ton of books with you to your club, or if you're someone who's about to dive into this period of World War II, every last thing you could possibly ever want, desire, need, or possibly consider is in this book. So, in the book, we are seeing army lists for the Waffen-SS, the Finnish, the Hungarians, the Romanians, and the Soviets, and a little sprinkling of the Polish Home Army on top, just for a little extra spice.
Yay.
Now,
You can do your Warsaw Uprising, Jerry.
Not on this scale.
Not at 50.
No.
now, key thing, this is going to include basically everything that came in those separate books. So from army lists to your scenarios, all of your history bits, all of your painting guides, one-stop shop for Operation Bagration.
Does it contain more than was in the books?
Ben, that's a question for you, sir.
There are a few more extra bits and pieces in there. I think they've got one extra nugget in there, I think, in terms of mission stuff. So I don't know if it's necessarily...
I know
There's river crossing stuff and fortification stuff in there for missions. They've also added in a few more additional scenarios, I think, as well as other stuff that would have been typical to the Eastern Front. And I think they've added in new, not lists, but effectively lists, some of the formation for
stuff,
some of these factions. So nations. So things like the Waffen, the Germans, the Finnish, the Hungarians, the Romanians, the Soviets, etc. Even the Polish stuff has additional faction stuff in there to build on what was already available in those books. So it is something that you would want to pick up if you are looking for a good resource for Bagration. Because
I know when they did it for previous editions, they did the same. They released the individual books for specific geographic regions or time periods within a theater. And then when they came to do the compilation, because they had a bigger page count in there, they were able to put in some lists that were excised from the books for space reasons for printing.
I think the main thing is those there are additional lists for the various nations, so you will get new stuff in there at the same time. So
fancy smancy.
Yeah. The only question is, which of the nations will people be going for?
I really like the idea of someone doing something different and doing something like the Polish Home Army and that kind of thing, rather than going for one of the big forces.
But from what I know, the Finns were pretty freaking brutal.
Yes, they were. I've seen that movie where he goes around and kills people with mines.
Sisu.
Sisu, yeah.
It's one way of doing it. I mean, the Winter War was hilarious. My favourite part of the Finns is their prime minister
Okay.
or whoever was in charge. So they were an Axis nation.
Mm-hmm.
They signed up. They got all the stuff sent over from Germania, the massive Reich that it was. And then the prime minister stepped down. The new prime minister took over, immediately imprisoned the old one for treason or whatever.
Yeah.
And then went, we're not part of the Axis anymore, but we are going to keep all your stuff and use it to fight the Russians. Thank you. Which is, it's a delightful way of doing things.
Best one for the Finns for me is the legendary tale of Imo Kazimov, the man who did all the meth.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a great YouTuber, Count Dankula. He does a Mad Lad series, and he will walk you through the epic tale of Imo Kazimov. It is glorious.
Yeah.
The man was built different.
I'm trying to see. Kind of group hats or Tiger Fair.
I liked that they did add in all the content pages so you can see what you're going to be getting in these. It's very good. Nice touch.
Yeah.
It's something you see the guys at Plastic Soldier do when they do their books. They give you the content pages so you can be like, what's actually inside this?
Yeah. Is there relevance to my gamings?
Yeah.
There's the third Panzer Division. Is that the same thing though? But if I was going to do, well, I already do it in 28mm, so I wouldn't do it for Flames for 15. But the 3rd SS Panzer Corps was the Danes who fought at Narva during Bagration. Yeah. That would probably be the one I would go for. Supported at one stage on the line by Tigers. Oh, he wrote Tigers in the Mud.
I have no idea, Jerry.
Famous.
Answers on a postcard?
Yeah, no, people will know. It's going to kill me now. I will suddenly shout it out in the middle of one of the other news articles.
There we go.
Or in the middle of backstage.
Yeah.
No, hopefully it will come back to me before then. Anyway, I mean, Tigers in the Mud is literally down there, but there's a box in front of it. And if I could just shift that, I could tell you now.
I imagine Jerry's place is just like a minefield of boxes of stuff.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of crap lying around here and there. Yeah, I'll give it that. I assume with Bagration, there'll be a rake of miniatures as well.
As far as I can tell, the pre-orders were only available for the book currently, but there's no reason to think that they won't do some stuff to kind of upgrade a few of the additional packs and things like that in the coming months. A lot of the stuff that Battlefront do tends to be over a series of months during the year where they release a few additional packs and things like that. So keep an eye out. They have only just finished the Japanese stuff though, and the Pacific things. So
surely they're working on something tasty for everybody.
Oh, most likely.
Yeah, the smaller nations generally tend to end up still being in metal and resin because the production is so small. Unless we can get some sort of massive groundswell of people to do Hungarian, I don't think you're going to see the Honved and the like in the
Hungarian resurgence
in hard plastics anytime soon.
We just need Hollywood to do a movie about a Hungarian unit. Be fine.
No, we don't. Could you imagine how bad that would be?
So bad it became good?
No. Anytime they're allowed near anything vaguely foreign, they generally screw the pooch on that one.
Yeah, fair.
Probably best just not to let them. Just don't tell Hollywood that anybody else was involved. It was all you, Hollywood.
So we won the war. Yes,
that's the one.
Yes, you did.
Please leave the other things alone.
Stop touching it.
Very happy.
Talking of Americans.
Yes. Americans by way of Australia.
Yeah. Cool, blimey.
There we go. That's what we wanted. Eureka have got their 18mm Revolutionary War coming out. A whole range of continental and British colonial troops for the revolutionary fight. Sculpted in the main by Alan Marsh, although Costa Herastandius has also helped him out. Yeah. Individual 18mm figures, so depending on the game you're playing, could base them up like this if you want to play small scale, weird skirmishy type. Most people are going to be
Travel 28.
Yep. Most people are going to be are strip basing these for bigger games, I would imagine. But if you're after things like your regular continental troops, your militias,
regulars,
rocking around the place in whatever they happen to have to hand, and of course, that's sort of more your bush rangers. The
hunting jackets.
I'd like to see the big long rifles with them. So apparently they didn't use quite as many of those as people think. The mythology around the long rifle has been sort of greatly exaggerated, but we still love it a bit. So, if you want to do your rangers and go and start taking shots at British forts in Canada, do it. Go nuts. It'll harden them. It's the only way they'll learn.
It's like people who think that every single German ever carried a Luger around with them.
Yeah,
it's like, Lugers everywhere.
That type of thing.
Or they confuse the Luger for the Mauser.
Yeah.
But the range that they've already built for this is quite considerable.
It really is.
Including, obviously, you've got a variety of poses. So you've got your marching order, you've got firing lines, you've got skirmish, and then there's also things like the grenadier and light battalions as well that can be accompanying your British forces. I imagine at some point we'll see the Hessians, various mercenary types, and your KJL, although I don't think they were called, they might have been KGL at that stage. Anyway, regardless, there's some really nice details being put into these as far as 18 mils go. I particularly like, there he is there, the campaign dressed officer.
Yeah, with his arm in a sling.
Yeah. For he's been wounded, but not out of the fight. He's now in a round base, issuing orders, like he should be.
Oh, thank God I've graduated to round bases.
Yeah, safer than being in a big square somewhere. But yeah, it's a really, really nice set of figures that they've put together. And it's one of these, when you're coming to play things like the American War of Independence, having that big scale, I think, is the most important thing, seeing the massive armies clashing, and it's better to do it with smaller scale figures. 18 is, I think, borderline, because 18, you do get a wealth of detail in there.
Yeah.
Which means that when you're coming to paint things up, you can really lean into the individuality of the units, the facings and the like. But you still get that grand spectacle, even though you're probably going to have, in a similar way to Fire and Sword, a limited number of figures per base, depending on the rule set you're going to be using. I don't think there's a rule set. They may have suggested a rule set with this, actually. But regardless, there's plenty out there. If you're looking to do some of this period, it's a really nice set of figures to go for.
The web store does very much feel like a pick and mix of, okay, I want this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy.
Well, you'll be getting, a specific type, but if you want to, they do have battalion sets where you go, I'd like my British Tricorn battalion, which contains
everybody
marching, firing, NCOs, ensigns, grenadiers, and that sort of thing. So it allows you to make, there we go there, total battalion pack content, 32/33 figures, with 4 skirmishing. So you've got your core battalion and then your skirmishers out front. The important thing to remember is you don't need tons of models. The idea that, in the same way, Argatoria, you don't need hundreds of models to represent a unit that is hundreds of models strong. The individual basis is more sensible.
Very much so.
And then you can just sort of go with it from there. So you can do your companies within your regiments.
I will say, it's a bit of a shame, as an additional bit of news for Eureka, that they don't have the Hawk Moon range anymore. Alas, that is not going to be a reality again. So all the stuff from Maceface that they were working on probably won't see the light of day, at least through Eureka, which is a real shame. But because that's a bummer. But there you go.
That really is.
Yeah, they announced it a couple of weeks ago now. That
Are they going somewhere else?
So hopefully we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll get folded into something like the Hornblower range with North Star.
North Star were stocking it. It is important to know, I suppose. Eureka have Eureka UK as well.
Yes.
So you don't have to order from the Antipodes if you're in the Northern Hemisphere.
You don't have to pay exorbitant shipping.
So,
yes.
You know, it's buyer's choice there, really, I suppose.
Yes.
Depending on where you are, where you need to get your stuff from.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 separate websites. Make sure you're on the right one before you hit purchase.
Yes. Oh God.
You could discover that whenever you're sitting there like 6 weeks later going, where are these? And then they suddenly arrive with a bill, and the taxman going, I think you'll find you owe us import duties and a whole lot of things going,
monies, please.
God.
Monies.
Can we not just give them access to more beef? Just, I don't want to pay so much. Just flood the market, please. Anyway. Yeah. Worth checking those out.
Oh, definitely.
Now, we have a final bit of nuance.
Yes. So this one's a little bit of a speculative piece.
Speculation.
Speculative and
you start speculating, and then I'll jump in because I've been following this for months.
You go, girl. So the folks behind Twisted, which was a game that originally released back in 2016, are going to be bringing their steampunk skirmishes back to the tabletop. And that means new rulebook, all of the old models, lots of new models, art, lore, everything you could think of is coming back to the tabletop. So Demented Games moved into new ownership, I believe. And I think it's tied into the guy who did, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, who helped with the Mercs revival,
correct.
I think it was.
It's Fifth Angel Studios. Duncan has got it in the US, and Weirdly Twisted was another Australian company.
There you go. So for those people who aren't aware, Twisted itself was a game where you dove in and you played as all sorts of strange and weird and wonderful steampunky factions inspired by Victoriana. So you had things like the Agents of Oz. You have things like the Dickensians, who are your sort of like cheeky chaps running around stealing things and stabbing people in the back.
Got to pick a pocket or two.
Got to pick a pocket or two. You had like your Servants of the Engine. There was like a whole set of like police. So there was the Scotland Yard Clockwork Constabulary and everything like that. The miniatures were absolutely gorgeous. And even though Twisted went through a Kickstarter 2020, 2021, I think it was, maybe. It unfortunately ended up that the game just sort of vanished, unfortunately, and didn't continue, especially after the addition of things like the Scions of the Sand. I think they were the last faction to get added to the game, perhaps.
Yeah, the last Kickstarter was for some large Golem-style models for factions. So it was a small Kickstarter with like a figure per faction.
Yeah. So they are going to be coming back with a brand new Kickstarter GameFound. I think it's GameFound campaign that they've been working on in the background, which will allow you to dive in and pick up a whole host of new 32mm figures alongside a whole bunch of extra stuff as well. They will be revamping the big rulebook, which will come with new additional content in there. So there'll be solo play rules, a full new campaign, lots of updates to the different factions and how they work. One of the nice things about the game as well is that even though there are the various factions, there are then individual companies, as they call them, within them. So you can dive in and play out the minutiae of something of the Dickensians, but in a particular theme, which I think is quite nice. So that's going to all be brought back to the table. They're also working with a huge range of different companies to actually make this a success. So they're obviously going to be doing all of the stuff in-house themselves to bring all the miniatures back, but they also have people like Journeyman Miniatures working on crossover figures in 75mm. Warsenal, everyone knows them, are going to be doing the tokens and templates. Mats by Mars are, big surprise, going to do the gaming mats. Avanti Art World are working on paint sets to go alongside this range as well. And then Stormcrow Scenery, while not officially affiliated, are going to be doing some terrain that will show up in their various battle reports and things that you do, and also be available for you to pick up and use in your games at the same time. So they are really making a big go of relaunching Twisted properly. So if you're somebody who maybe watched some of those old unboxings that we did a couple of years ago, where we looked through the different companies and the various miniatures, which are stunning, you will get a chance to see Twisted have its revival once again.
Yeah, it's a fascinating world. Essentially, the Great Machine, the Great Engine, is something subterranean and expansive that people have discovered when doing a touch of the old archaeology. And that sort of defines what's happening in the rest of the world. Then that's their steampunk moment.
Yes.
They find this thing and are able to
the MacGuffin.
sort of, that's their every steampunk
has a MacGuffin,
world has a MacGuffin that makes it steampunk as opposed to Victoriana.
Yeah,
But within
on
that,
decks.
they've got a really nice blend of things. So they use steampunkified real characters, real world people. So you could have your Carter in one of the factions. But as you've seen there with the Agents of Oz, they also then take the contemporaneous characters from books. So you've got your Tin Man, Cowardly Lion and the like. You've got your Oliver Twist and his little group of scumbags.
They are scumbags.
They are complete scumbags.
And they're very twisted as well.
Rifling around the place. So that they mix up these, so you get some really nice pop culture bits and pieces. There's a really nice set of not Ghostbusters as well. Yes. Oh. So occasionally modern pop culture drifts back to make it. But if you've ever wondered what steampunk bowler hat wearing Ghostbusters would look like, this game has that.
There's a Sherlock Holmes I'm up for this. Watson and all that kind of thing as well. Yeah.
And it is a small scale skirmish. That's how it uses the full. Well, I think second edition isn't changing.
From what I could read, they've only just added a few things in. I think
so. It uses the full polys, which is good, because any skirmish game that uses polyhedrals is always a winner in my books, because you can do a lot with them, up to and including throwing a tow rag urchin in front of some sort of massive engine-driven Anubis-like god thing. I can just stomp on it.
Yeah.
So just a little Cockney accent. I love you.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I'm pretty looking forward to seeing what Duncan does with this.
Yeah, should be cool.
Hopefully gets it out to more people. We should really revisit Mercs at some point as well and see how it's going.
God, Mercs had such amazing minis.
Yeah. The game mechanics were so weird though with the card-based movement.
I love that. And the 2D terrain that you didn't need to have loads of 3D stuff.
Yeah. No,
anyway.
I remember.
Yeah. Worth checking out. They do have, the face page has been fairly active.
It really has. They do an update every month, I think, currently.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So since the initial sort of cry off after it was like, well, we've got as far as we can with the game. We can't go any further. Hopefully we'll find out where it's going to go. And then it was sort of all quiet the Western Front for a while. But since mid last year, end of last summer, I think it was, they sort of announced that they were teaming up with Fifth Angel. There's been a constant update of new and improved things coming from Twisted. So cracking stuff. Glad to see it.
I will also say you can actually go to the Demented Games store, which still exists as a website online.
Yes.
You cannot buy anything from it because, of course, the game doesn't currently exist and the miniatures are only very, very rarely sold at conventions and things. But you can go there and just look at the whole thing. So you can go and look at all the different miniatures, all the factions and all that kind of stuff if you are interested, and maybe get your eye in with your friends and be like, no, I'm playing these guys when it comes. Yeah. So you can come and learn a bit more about the world and all that kind of thing there as well.
You too can find out what's happening with all of these terrible people.
Oh, look how good they are.
Yeah,
there's so beautiful.
There's Carter.
There's Carter himself. So I mean, the work they did was absolutely fantastic. That was the Monstrous Marvels. That was the last Kickstarter they did for adding the golems to each faction. And that was a nice crossover as well between Purgatory and themselves. So there's absolutely cracking stuff. It's worth having a look at if you like your Steampunk. And if you
everything old is new again.
If you don't like your Steampunk, go and check out Fire and Sword.
Yes. Did you know it comes with unit cards?
Wing 2 Sires.
On the back of the unit card, it gives the special abilities for the units as well.
Right, so
quick reference there.
Cult of Games on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Be like that. Be like that if you must.
I mean, to you, Jerry, you never get to have any fun.
Just the absolute worst. But you can visit us over at OnTableTop.com on Sunday, where we will be back to witter about hobby on Sunday morning. If you want to get up really early in the morning, that show goes out at 5 a.m.
does.
What the absolute is going on there? Huh?
Apparently, it was for all the parents who woke up on Sundays because of their kids.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, I mean, when it launches, it's not 5 a.m. everywhere.
that's true. Yeah.
God, it's 5 a.m. in the important place. My bed. After that, I don't care. But yes, find out what we're up to there. If you're not already a cultist, you can join us for a 30-day trial for free, gratis. Have a look at what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we shall return next Friday without me because I'm off. Ha ha ha. Have a great week of gaming.
It's all going to burn.
Bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.